Hey guys, I've got some explaining to do regarding the Sean O'Brien 100K, so I'm going to head to the trails and have that chat when we get there. Alright, so I promised to recap. Unfortunately, I'm in a high traffic area, so there's a high probability I'll be busted talking to myself. But that's alright, I'll do it anyway. As I said, ended up dropping down to the 50-mile distance. Normally, had everything gone sort of according to plan, I would have been pretty gutted by that, you know. It's not lost on me that I didn't do what I had set out to do. That always sucks. That being said, still a little bit sick from the race. For a number of reasons, I'm not horribly disappointed by that, and I'm kind of pleased, mostly just because I wasn't exceptionally prepared. And the story of that kind of goes back to about 5 weeks ago when I first got down to Santa Barbara. Things just sort of didn't go as planned. So coming back to UCSB was just a pretty big life shift. I was coming back after a year in New Zealand, so just being at a different university, and because of, Southern Hemisphere, I had to come back in the middle of our year here. So I was moving in with people that I'd never met before, and that are a lot younger than I am, and I didn't know what they'd be like. Santa Barbara is a very popular party location, and I was afraid that it would be a less than comfortable time for me down here. And then on the academic side of things, to be quite honest, I was kind of screwed by a few facets of the university. So it was a time of tremendous stress, and then I sort of got injured right as I got down here, and I'm sure it's related to the stress, but it was this, horrible cycle of things not going well in your life and not having the your usual coping mechanism, your way to de-stress didn't exist, because I couldn't run. So it was kind of a dark time for a couple weeks, and and in fact, the week before Sean O'Brien, about a week and a half, I said to myself and my family, like, look, there's no way I'm gonna run that race because... Alright, so my GoPro battery died, and since this is an easy run, I don't feel too bad about walking for a minute to finish my spiel. Yeah, so 2 weeks before, I said, no way I'm gonna run, and then 6 days before or so, I had a change of heart, kind of, and just said, what the heck, I paid for this, and sometimes in these races, these things sort of work themselves out, in a weird, confusing way. So I was like, I'll start, do the best I can, see what happens. So I guess I'll jump into the actual race. Got down there with my buddy Austin. I will filter in some clips of the journey. How do you feel about this race, Austin?
I'm so excited. We're like back at this, all the memories.
Yeah.
Back in the same parking lot. Sean O'Brien, round 2, 100K edition.
It's time. Earlier this week, I was feeling very unprepared, and perhaps I am unprepared, but I'm pretty excited. I think this is going to be, I think it's going to be a tough day, but I'm stoked for it. I didn't know. We've checked in, we've picked up our packets, we saw Kira, the race director, and gonna go get some food. I was just telling Austin, like, I don't feel like this race isn't really anything special, but I have history here, and so it's exciting to come back. You agree? I don't know, you pull into these parking lots and you're like, oh shit, like, it's time.
Like, it's definitely a place that has a lot of memories.
Yeah.
Both good and bad. And it's nice to be back here.
Yeah.
And like holding the number.
Woo. Yeah.
It's like, it's real now.
True. Hey, we didn't get any,
I got pins.
oh, I didn't get pins.
Oh, go back and get pins.
I better go get pins.
All right, on the quest for food, because you need that.
Very critical. We're not fat adapted athletes here. You gotta eat dinner the night before. Not trying to fast. All good. So canned. All right, we've just checked into our hotel here in Calabasas, and the lady at the front desk was a little concerned that we'd only booked this room for one night. Rest assured, viewers, we will not drive home if we are incapable of it. Austin has family in the area if we need to. But I just kept thinking of that scene in Where Dreams Go to Die when Gary Robbins had run 4 loops with a Barkley and then shows up driving the minivan. So I figure if he can do it after 4 loops with a Barkley, then we should be okay. But yeah, we'll make a smart decision there, and hopefully good race tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be wearing Challenger ATR 5. Yeah, 5, the newest model. And yeah, what are you going to wear?
I got the New Balance Heroes.
Ah, yes.
These guys.
That's pretty sweet looking.
It's got the little duck bill.
Yeah, strange back there, but
All right.
good shoe. All right, it's race morning. It's really exciting. I feel like we're headed into the unknown. In 15 hours or so, Austin and I will be shriveled messes of men, and we'll see what that looks like. Who knows? Austin was also running the 100K. He's a lot more prepared and less injured than I was. So yeah, we got down there and started the race, and I definitely limped through the first couple miles per usual, but as the age-old tale goes, by the end of 10 or 15 miles, I didn't have any of my injuries. I was in pain, but I was in pain because I'd run 20 miles or whatever. It was the normal type of pain. So the race actually went okay for a long time, like better than expected. I was probably on a 13.5 to 14 hour pace, which is pretty good at Sean O'Brien. The cutoff 16 hours is super, super tight. And met a ton of folks, like a lot of you guys came up and said hi. You know, right to name a couple, Luis Garcia, super nice to share some miles with him. A nice guy named Shinya, talked to him for a while. So thanks for that, if you guys are out there, and everyone else who talked to me. That was super, super nice. I don't have any video from the race. I do have one voice recording from about mile 24, I think. So I will put that in here. This is your official update. I don't know if this will send if I have service, but I'm at mile 26. Injuries are fine, but I am appropriately exhausted. So I'm just on a tough section, long 8-mile bit between aid station and very, very, very steep. So I'm hiking along right now. Things were going kind of okay. Mile 31 came in about 6.5 hours, and that was sort of the high point of the course anyway, so I was pretty happy with that. And I was still running fine downhill, and flat was fine. Everything was looking good. I think the biggest sort of turn in the wrong direction was after mile 36. The aid station didn't have any gels, and that was sort of my race plan. So I stuffed a ton of like rice balls in my pack and was eating those. But I don't know if it was working that well. But anyway, between 36 and 43, my race just kind of went kaput. And I very slowly strolled into mile 43 aid station and made the call to drop down to the 50-mile distance, which the volunteers were super nice about. I think they could tell that I was gutted and just said like, hey, you know, what you've done is great. You're making the right call, the right decision. And I feel that I am. I was pretty wrecked afterward. I got a little bit sick, which happens after races sometimes. So anyway, after that, I just sort of made the stroll the last 7 miles to the 50-mile finish. Ended up running a little bit of that downhill bit. And I don't know, finished 50 mile in like 12 and a half hours. It was tough. It was really tough. And yeah, I am disappointed to not get the 100K finish in the Western States qualifier, but all considering, I'm happy with having run 50 miles. So that's my spiel. I'm sorry I kept you guys waiting for so long. My next plan, I've already signed up for the next race. I just hope that I am healthy for it. That race is the Leona Divide 100K on April 25th. So a couple months, 9 weeks, 10 weeks. Gonna hopefully get in some good training. I want to do a high intensity phase for a couple weeks before I focus on specificity. That squirrel is mad. Yeah, that's what I got for you guys. Again, sorry to keep you waiting. I'm gonna put the phone away and continue this run. Have a good one, y'all. Beyond Carl's Jr., regular Carl's Jr. post race. Sorry. Thoughts?
It's the little things that make the biggest difference.
True.
And sitting here, like, this is like Ruth Chris Steakhouse right to me right now. Like, I know it's a $5 burger, but
yeah,
it tastes like prime rib, man.